That might be interesting then. Okay, so
Well,
we are basically waiting on one more person. I think he's going to be on momentarily. He's coming home from work, and he's one of the people that have no vested interest in the fleet. So that's why I think it would be great to have somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, Afrix. I didn't know you were going to be here tonight.
Yeah, needs must.
I am random person number 3.
Random.
Congratulations! I've heard that's a great role.
But feel free to actually make up people. I
know. I'm trying to come up with something that's like their initials are NPC.
Helping us out in the aspect of the jury. Or tribunal, whatever the hell you guys want to call it. This is a military type thing, so probably tribunal would be better. So essentially, the whole first scene is you guys are basically going to be sitting there listening to all the evidence presented, all the defense testimonies, all the witness statements, all that fun stuff. And after all of that is done, I set up a separate jury channel where you guys are going to go and actually deliberate.
Oh, cool.
And then so that you guys can figure out basically guilty, not guilty, and possible punishments. So that's going to be, that is going to be your job in this. So this will have a real consequence if he's found guilty of whatever the hell he's found guilty of. And there might be some consequences if he's found not guilty. So, so just keep that in mind as we go forward. Is there any questions before we start? There are a ton of people.
Two small questions. First off, do we have an explanation as to why the commander is here, Commander Jacoby is here, but his captain is not? And second, would it be okay to have a small, quick scene at the beginning just so all the jurors can introduce themselves to each other?
I am not going to do the second scene because there's actually something we're going to do different.
Okay.
And as for why the captain is not, we could just say it's random drawings.
Mm-hmm.
He got sick.
Or the tribunal only needed a certain number of people, and just so happens one of the people was going to be left out.
Yeah.
Or could be that the ship's new off the line, don't want to leave without a captain and commander.
Or one other thing I could say is that currently the Hadfield is going through a massive crew transfer.
So the captain needs to be there to supervise everything. Exactly.
Yep,
he sent me a message.
The captain needs to oversee that massive crew transfer.
Yeah. However, we need to justify why people are and aren't here is whatever.
Okay. Yep, that's fine.
I think as we start getting started, everything's going to become clear.
Okay.
So the other thing I do have to say before we start, because there are this many people, definitely be careful of talking over people tonight.
What do you mean, blah, 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 blah?
Huh?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Yeah, basically stuff like that.
What are they selling?
Yeah, so if you're not talking, try to mute your mic as much as possible. If you have a push-to-talk feature, by all means, try to use it. And yeah, let's just try to have some fun and figure out what we're going to do with Captain Starex tonight.
We gotta have the Law and Order dun dun sound.
I wish, right?
I thought we were playing more something like Judge Judy.
In the Starfleet legal system.
We've got a long way to fall before we get there.
And I guess the other question is anyone streaming tonight?
I assume Prax is gonna.
I am streaming tonight.
Okay, cool. So, Prax, when the jury does end up going to their separate room to deliberate, feel free to jump over to be a silent observer so you can get that on stream as well, because I think that might be interesting.
Okay.
Well,
because
that's right. Prax isn't going to be on the jury.
Correct.
Right. Vested interest and such.
Right. So, without further ado, I think we are going to jump straight into the, actually, I think we have a captain's personal log first. So I think we will start with that.
See, we should, but I wrote those letters and forgot about it. I may have just gotten myself fired.
Okay.
Let me think real quick.
Oh, you don't have a captain. You don't have a captain's log. Advantage revoked.
Yeah, we can just move on.
All right, cool.
I honestly forgot because of asking about the letters.
All right, so we'll go ahead and jump to the room and where this trial or whatever is going to take place. So obviously in the main bench or whatever is Admiral Heppert, and of course she does not look happy because there's something pretty serious going on. And also we have the jurors taking place. Like I said, I don't know their names, but they are going to be played by Captain Grennan as himself, Commander Jacoby. Did I say that right? Jacoby, playing himself. And then we have Dr. Efrix playing one of the jurors. Pend is going to play one of the jurors, and the Mars R12 guy is going to play another one of the jurors. So if they want to say names or whatever, but their ranks are either captain or commander. So I think that's all we have to deal with them. So I think at this moment in time, I think actually Captain Starex is going to enter the room with his defense team. And you could explain who they are.
It's going to be me primarily, and Dr. Andel Morgath will be my number 2.
Cool. And so you guys end up going and taking your seats. Clearly you're on the, if you're looking toward the bench, you would be on the right. And walking in a couple minutes behind you is Commander Varro. And he's actually going to take up the right side of the left side of the tables.
Bum, bum, bum.
If you guys catch my meaning there.
Of course you are, you treacherous bastard.
All right, so I think we'll just go ahead and get this started. So I will be playing the Admiral from here on out, as opposed to game mastering, because I think this is going to be a totally role-playing session that I'm just going to try to GM out of. So I did have a speech for this, but I forgot it. Oh well.
Relatable.
Right. Yeah. So Admiral Heppert sits there, kind of hits the little gong thing that they have, just signaling the start of the trial. I can't remember what the hell that thing is called.
Gavel.
One
right.
beep for yes, 2 beeps for no.
but you know how like they have that like bell type thing,
yeah,
and not the gavel, but yeah, that thing. And she says, okay, we all know why we're here. Captain Varro, I'm quite surprised that you're taking this on yourself. Commander Varro, sorry.
Admiral, intelligence has sent me to carry out this matter personally.
I dislike having to have a court-martial on the station, but let's just get on with it. Please, Commander, your opening statement.
I'm here for the matter of the prosecution of Captain Starex of the USS Sarek, formerly of the USS Imgen, lost to sabotage. The accusations are insubordination of direct orders and how it ties into a larger and more disturbing trail of actions and behaviors that we believe implicate Rolen Starex as a Romulan intelligence asset. I intend to demonstrate to the tribunal that Captain Starex should be nowhere near sensitive Federation matters, much less in command of a starship and her crew.
Very good. The charges have been laid out. Captain Starex, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Please let the record show that Captain Starex has entered a plea of not guilty. Please, Captain, your opening statement.
Members of the jury, Admiral Heppert. what I intend to show here today is that members of Starfleet Command and command staff of the 10th Expeditionary Fleet knowingly and willfully issued illegal orders to me, the captain of the USS Sarek, and that I was forced to use my prerogative as a captain to disobey those orders. And I'm going to sit down.
Very well. Prosecutor, present your evidence.
Shut up, Captain. I would like to take us through a journey of the life of Captain Starex. We'll begin before his time with his parents. And this is where things begin to get suspicious. Two ambassadors to Romulus to further this man into a position of power. I believe the court has the information required for this. Second, Rolen Starex enrolls in the Starfleet Academy, where he performs admirably, setting a record at the Kobayashi Maru, damaging Romulan ships more than anyone else in history. Note for the court, these are Romulan ships. I would also like to call attention to a recently intercepted communique from Captain Starex after he was called to court. This is addressed to a member of the Romulan military, one Sarek, where he calls upon aid from the Romulans in extracting him from his current situation. Next, Captain Starex's actions in refusing evacuation of the Imjin highlight a blatant disregard for the life of his crew and a possible attempt to not only lose the Federation a ship, but also that very same hardworking crew. Lastly, we will get on to the matter at hand here, disobeying direct orders and allowing the Romulans time to intercept the Sarek with its valuable cargo, which was lost. For my first witness, I would like to call to the stand. Who do I have here? Hold on, I have notes, people. I have hastily gathered notes. Commander Prax.
Commander Prax, would you please take the stand?
Prax gets up and head towards the stand.
Thank you, Commander. I'd like you to, in your own words, walk us through the recent mission of the Sarek.
You have to be more specific there, Commander.
The extraction of the agent codenamed Mordak.
Oh, so the individual has a name.
Judge, I'd like to raise an objection.
On what grounds, Captain?
The prosecution is referring to evidence which has not been entered into the record and which the defense has no knowledge of, and therefore cannot accurately defend against.
I agree.
Let it be submitted to the court that a one agent of Starfleet Intelligence, herefore to be known as Mordak, was the cargo that the Sarek was assigned to transport back to Narendra Station. This is all the information that shall be required in demonstrating my point.
I will allow you to continue, Commander, very carefully.
Very well. Commander, recount the events, if you will.
We received orders from Starfleet Command to rendezvous with a freighter that was transporting a cargo. The orders were stated to pick up the cargo and then deliver it to the USS Independence. I will note, however, that on the orders, it just said pick up cargo. There was no information on what the cargo was, is, and how to properly secure the cargo. Once we picked up or rendezvoused with the freighter, the freighter captain asked Captain Starex to beam aboard and inspect the cargo. For some reason, the cargo had spooked the freighter captain. Captain Starex, along with Chief Kier, Dr. Mir himself, Lieutenant Commander Regoff, and two security officers beamed aboard the freighter. Once they arrived on the freighter, to my knowledge, I was put into command of the Sarek at that time. I cannot account for all the actions on the cargo. However, from my understanding of what happened, there were issues on how to transport the cargo from the freighter to the Sarek. It was found out that the cargo was indeed a cryopod with, at the time, we believed to be an Orion human or Orion male frozen. And due to the cryopod, we could not transport the Orion off the freighter. The freighter's docking airlock was broken and could not actually dock with the Sarek and transfer it that way. So at the time, the captain was faced with no option other than to unfreeze the Orion and transport him that way. At that point, I advised the captain to beam the cryopod just in case we had to put the Orion back on ice. During that time, a group of raiders attacked both the freighter and the Sarek. I had moved myself to the tactical position and proceeded to fire on all three phasers in a area-based attack and destroying the raiders very quickly. Once we had secured the Orion in the sickbay, the freighter captain left, and we proceeded to head towards the rendezvous point of the USS Independence. Upon our arrival,
speed, Commander?
Standard cruising speed of warp factor 6. May I continue?
You may, Commander.
Upon arrival at our destination, we found a debris field of what appeared to be raiders. At least they were destroyed some time ago and possibly waiting for an ambush. At that point, we contacted the USS Independence, which has been delayed in an ion storm, and then proceeded to change the rendezvous point. At that point, we became suspicious of our Orion cargo and attempted to wake him up to find answers. Dr. Mir gave the Orion a heavy dose of what would have should have wakened the Orion up, but did not. And at that point, we fell under attack by a Romulan Starex class warship. The Romulans, we took moderate damage and proceeded to run. Which they eventually did catch up to us and dropped us out of warp. Luckily, the Independence wasn't too far behind us and quickly finished, got us to safety. But that was during that time, the Romulans managed to beam a boarding party on board, attacked sickbay, killed several security officers, which at that point the Orion got up from sickbay and dispatched the Romulan agents, and then proceeded to the shuttle bay. At which point he barricaded himself in a Type 7 shuttlecraft. Both Captain Starex and I headed down to the shuttle bay, where Captain Starex attempted to negotiate and get the Orion to surrender to us. However, the Orion wasn't willing to cooperate, so Captain Starex attempted to transport the Orion out of the shuttle bay, in which during that point the Orion rigged the shuttle to explode, causing both the captain and myself to be gravely injured in the process. That is all I can recount for you at this time.
Thank you, Commander. I would like to corroborate this with the Sarek's logs.
I believe you find that the events are fairly accurate.
Let's see. Commander, I would like to ask you what you might have done differently in this case, so as to have carried out your orders and accomplished your mission successfully.
I don't believe I would have personally done anything differently. The Starex class warship was obviously waiting for us. It was presumed to be a trap set.
And you're coming upon this trap. You don't find it at all objectionable?
The Romulans I've known to be in the area, at least in this space. They've taken a great interest in it. As to what happened, why they were there, I don't know, and I'm not privy to that information. Everything about this has been highly classified, and that's part of the reason why I find it concerning about our orders being somewhat unlawful myself, due to the fact of the limited information. If we had no more information, we'd have probably approached things slightly different.
Very good, Commander. That'll be all for now.
Very good. Defense, your witness.
Commander Prax.
Captain.
Were you aware of my orders?
Yes.
Did those orders clearly state the origin of those orders?
No, they did not.
Did those orders express a security clearance necessary to either know of the existence of the orders, the existence of the cargo, our destinations at any time, or any other materials which you think might have come under a security clearance?
No, they did not. And I even contacted both Narendra and Starfleet Command to verify the orders, which I only got a response of what the orders officially stated, and that was to rendezvous with the freighter, pick up the cargo, and then deliver it safely to the Independence.
Did you have orders not to examine the deceased?
No, we did not.
Did you or me know about the citizenship status of the deceased?
No, we did not.
Can you state with any degree of certainty that the deceased was not a citizen of the Federation?
We could not ascertain the identity of the individual, so we could not verify that he was a citizen of the Federation or not.
Did you willingly and knowingly agree to follow orders from me after you knew that they were contrary to orders issued by Admiral Hepburn without protest?
Yes, I would have followed your orders to the letter. And doing,
Did you?
if I did, sorry, go ahead.
Did you at any time file a grievance against me?
No, I did not.
With your knowledge of the law, if you were told to take possession of a individual which was being held and you could not verify their citizenship status, the reason for their being held,
Objection. The defense has no proof that the deceased was being held against their will.
I didn't suggest that the deceased was being held against his will, Your Honor. I was asking a very specific scenario to the commander.
Continue, Captain.
Under those circumstances, would you willfully continue to detain that individual?
If I believed that the individual's rights were being, under the Prime Directive, being violated, then I would not have held that individual.
That's all, Commander.
Objection. The Orions do not fall under jurisdiction of the Prime Directive as they are.
Your Honor, there are several notable examples of members whose species does not belong to the Federation who are citizens of the Federation. I don't believe it is in the prosecution's prerogative to profile members of species on their citizenship status.
I was not referring to citizenship in the Federation, but rather to the specifics of the directive, as you should know, Cap, which refers to the actions of Starfleet members in accordance with encountering pre-warp civilizations.
May I add something to the court?
Very well, Commander.
The Prime Directive does not only apply to pre-warp civilizations, but to all civilizations. Starfleet has an adherence that we do not interfere with conflicts, even if they are a warp-capable civilization. That's all.
Let it be known that the Prime Directive not only refers to pre-warp civilizations, but also the natural development of all civilizations. If there are no more questions, Commander Prex, you may step down.
I have no more questions, Commander.
Very good. Prosecutor, next witness.
I'm sorry, what? I'm getting a really bad connection.
Oh. Next witness, please.
Okay. Based on my readings of the reports, I would like to call Chief Altera to the stand.
Chief Altera, will you please take the stand?
Yes, sir.
Chief, it's come to my attention that you were the one who brought up the supposed unlawful nature of the orders to Captain Starex. Is this correct?
Yes.
How did you come by this particular judgment?
In the general briefing we received at the mission beginning, we were informed we were moving cargo. Upon viewing the cargo aboard the transport ship and seeing that it was a person inside of a cryopod, I suspected something strange was going on, as our orders did not detail that, nor were we getting... it was being referred to continuously as cargo, even though from all scans of the doctor that was with us, that he was a living, breathing person, a sentient being. It is my understanding that Starfleet is not in the business of transporting sentient beings as cargo. Therefore, I noted my protest with the captain in the event that something may be wrong.
And the nature of these orders? Was their classification such that you or the captain would be privy to all information regarding their specific details?
Commander, the details of a mission are dictated by the captain during briefings. At no such time do I feel a specific need to see the particular details of that, as I believe the captain was acting within his lawful ability. However, I did confront the captain to see if there's any detail to the mission that could clarify the situation. I assumed perhaps I had misheard something during the mission briefing.
Very good. Are you aware of special provisions within Federation law that dictate that Starfleet intelligence is able to withhold information from captains according to their prerogative when just for the betterment of the Federation as a whole?
Indeed, but in such situations, security clearances are usually mentioned and specific command lines are established, sir.
That is indeed standard procedure. However, is it not possible that sometimes standard procedures cannot be followed, and trust must be put in the chain of command?
I refuse to speculate.
Very well. Chief Altera, I would like you to elaborate on any other events where you have brought up similar issues to your commanding officers.
Excuse me, sir, I do not believe I understand the question.
Has it been a pattern of yours to question the authority of Starfleet Command?
Of Starfleet Command, no, sir.
Of orders that your captain has had to execute?
Yes, sir.
Very good, Chief. You're dismissed.
Defense, your witness.
Chief,
Captain?
did you at any time file a complaint against orders that were issued to you?
I lodged a protest on file. Yes, sir.
Could you summarize that for us?
In short, the protest detailed that I believe that the orders we were given to transport the so-called cargo involved the possible illegal transport of a sentient being, which I believe was against United Federation planet law and therefore Starfleet law, also Starfleet regulations. I went into various case law and stated detail and so on.
At any time during the mission, were you present during a conversation between the executive officer, Commander Azrael Prex, and myself, discussing the nature of our orders and whether or not they were lawful?
I believe I was present at that time. Yes, sir.
And after hearing that conversation, did you willfully follow any commands issued by either the CO or the XO that counteracted orders issued by Admiral Heppard?
No, sir.
You did not. To your knowledge, did the XO willingly follow the CO's commands without protest after you observed their conversation?
As far as I'm aware, yes, sir. Excuse me, as far as I'm aware.
That's all, Chief.
Chief Altera, you may step down.
Aye, sir.
Commander Alvaro, do you have any other witnesses?
I would like to call. That is an in-character, sorry. Dr. Murr to the stand.
Security, will you please bring Dr. Murr into the room? And security goes and fetches Dr. Murr, and after a couple minutes, Murr is escorted to the seat. Doctor, will you please take the stand?
Yes, Admiral. And I sit down and kind of cross my hands the best I can with the shackles or whatever I'm wearing.
Yeah, I don't think you're shackled. I think you were just escorted.
Okay, then my arms are kind of crossed.
I don't think Starfleet uses shackles anymore.
No, not so much, usually.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
All right, Commander, continue.
All right, Doctor. I would like to ask you about the events leading up to the death of the Orion that the Sarek was tasked to retrieve.
Okay.
Can you walk me through your involvement in that process?
yeah. When we found out that it was living cargo, I was transported over to do a medical scan. When it was suggested that when it was told that we had to move it, the cryopod, at first we tried to see if we could get it through a shuttle. Doors were sealed shut from some kind of asteroid hit, it looked like. And so we had to decide to transport the cargo over to the Sarek, which could not have been done in the cryopod. So Chief Kier and I defrosted him, for lack of a better term, and had him transported to a quarantine force field in the sick bay, where I proceeded to do a medical scan and tried to wake him up.
What were the results of your medical scan, Doctor?
At first, through the cryopod and the interference with that, I got just a surface scan, and for all intents and purposes, he was Orion.
And you conveyed this, of course, to your captain.
Yes, I did.
You may continue.
When we tried to get information from him after the attack of well, I guess it happened kind of concurrently. I was charged with waking him up, so I gave him a stimulant. Turns out he did not
wake up an Orion male, correct?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. In fact, after him not waking up, I proceeded to add another half a dose after 20 minutes of him still lying in a dormant state, giving his heart a chance to get used to the stimulant in the first place. And then I proceeded to do a neural scan on him to find out what was causing him not to wake up.
And your findings, Doctor?
It was odd. He had an Orion body, but human brain patterns.
And you communicated this to Captain Starex as well, I assume?
I didn't have time.
Intriguing.
Because as soon as I found out was when the Romulans attacked. I got everybody that wasn't already in a force field, i.e. the Orion. I got the nurse, myself, and a few of the other injured crew into another medical force field. The Romulans came in, hacked into well, I say hacked, they more blunt instrumented the force field down, and he woke up and dispatched them with great precision and proceeded to tear through the hallways of the Sarek. I let Lieutenant Commander Regov know, and then I proceeded to check on everybody in sickbay.
And did you inform the captain or commander of your discoveries at that point?
Once again, was not able to. I did let Lieutenant Commander Regov know.
Understood, Doctor.
They were already unconscious by the time I even had time to think. So
Doctor, that's all the questioning I have for you at the moment.
Defense, your witness.
Hello, Captain.
Mr. Muir.
Kinda has a nice ring to it. I may miss the doctor a little.
Were you aware of the captain's orders before you reached the alien cargo ship? Or the cargo ship, not the alien cargo ship. The cargo ship.
I was.
Did those orders in any way inform you not to open the container, or that you were not allowed to open the container?
No. There were no words in those orders that said we could not open that container.
Did you attempt to awaken the deceased on the orders of the captain?
I did.
Were you
However,
ever able to wake him? Were you able to wake him?
No, even after the second dose of stimulant, he did not awaken, and I advised the captain that I should not administer another dose, for it may have been fatal, or may be fatal.
I have no further questions, Mr. Muir.
Very good. Security, will you escort the doctor back to the brig?
And I just get up and go quietly.
Very good. I think
That was tense.
yeah, it was.
Go ahead, Ed.
Oh yeah, no, what's left of Mir's soul is gone. There's nothing there anymore.
Commander Varro, do you have any other witnesses you would like to present?
Yes, Admiral, I do. The next person I'd like to call to the stand is Security Chief Regov.
Lieutenant Commander Regov, will you please take the stand?
Yes, Admiral. And he gets up and walks over, sits down really fast.
Lieutenant Commander.
Commander?
I'm sure you've detected a pattern so far. I see no reason to break it as of yet. Your own opinions about the events that transpired, please. I believe the court has enough of a basic understanding. Please highlight any differences you have or unique experiences. Questions will proceed from there.
Well, I don't have anything to offer unless you want to point me in a direction, Commander.
Let's start off with taking aboard a potentially misidentified mission object. What is your initial response to that, Lieutenant Commander?
Very interesting. Yeah, we didn't know what it was, but we figured it out.
What's your first inclination when something that's repeatedly been referred to as cargo is discovered to be biological matter? that Starfleet Command is corrupt, that someone is not to be trusted, your orders should be doubted, or perhaps that it might be above your pay grade.
Objection. He's leading the witness.
What's the word for that? Hold on. I believe it's sustained is what I'm looking for.
Overruled.
No, we want the sustained one, not the overruled one.
Sustained is I agree with the objection.
Oh, okay.
Understood, Admiral.
I might stay in as being able to offer some legalese if needed.
That would be great, sure.
Yeah,
And-
so
and-
what
At
I
that,
got is sustained is the judge agrees with the objection and disallows the question.
Yep.
Overruled is the judge disagrees with the objection and allows the question.
Yep.
Mhm.
so Regiv kind of raises his eyebrow at that scene, like, interesting.
Perhaps I should rephrase, Admiral.
Continue, Commander.
Lieutenant Commander, what is the general procedure of Starfleet intelligence when sending general fleet vessels on assignments?
Objection. How would the witness know what the operating procedures of Starfleet intelligence are if he's not a member of such?
Overruled. Answer the question.
Well, it's like the captain was saying. I've served, as you can see, I don't know if you reviewed my career record yet, Commander. I have some basic understanding of it. I mean, I can go look it up real quick if you'd allow me to.
What was covered in your security training should be more than adequate.
Well, I know this, and this regulation, as he states them.
What regulations are those?
Well, I mean, just imagine in character he said them. I mean, that's what I kind of meant with that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get that. I'm just saying, like, what's the gist of them?
I don't know, like, personally, so that's why I said that.
Okay. Not sure where to go with that.
Yeah, I'm going to open up the ops book because I know it's in there.
Yeah. The ops book is nice.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It answers a lot of these weird questions.
Yeah. Haven't got a chance to read through most of it yet. Like I
And
have it
if there's more than 3 or there's only 3, the third one, I just rolled a d6. That's the one that he knows about.
Okay.
We apologize. We must pause the game for
Pause the game for a rule briefing.
for lore research.
Quick, Ed, cue the elevator music.
Do.
Japanese. You're like, da, da,
Because the problem is I know.
I am kind of sad I didn't get to have a Hannibal Lecter moment. That would have been neat. It is a sensor tester once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Well, no.
I mean,
I imagine the doctor would have been in like prisoner garb, though.
Oh yeah, I figured he was too. He's just kind of like, he kind of looks like Lumberjack Dexter without the beard. He's just kind of like cold faced and just like, I'm gonna die anyway. Fuck it.
The doctor just went from a little bit of retribution to avenge a friend straight to like eating livers. It's a pretty big jump.
It really is.
I mean, you know, it happens. It's a prison thing you wouldn't understand.
Does it?
It's a prison thing.
Does it
That line.
really?
And so I think for sake, like I only found a little bit, and instead of getting into detail in the books, it basically says that Starfleet intelligence essentially outsources their work, and they might do that to ships. And you know, missions are highly classified, and they might and you know, they'll be under strict orders not to share details of the mission. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, stuff like that. So,
But they are given details of the mission. They just can't share them.
right.
I rest my case.
I think it's a little early for that, but okay.
I'm not even sure he had a case.
Yeah.
But
the witness does not say that.
So the question was Starfleet regulations regarding working with intelligence. Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm establishing a baseline right now.
Right.
Yep. So
Here, I'll just read this best paragraph because I think that's probably going to sum it up. It is difficult for Starfleet intelligence to perform overt missions. They do come up as long as an enemy regime will be able to admit their part in a mission. Starfleet intelligence can be open in its work. For such missions, borrowing a Starfleet vessel is the best option. Starfleet intelligence is the shield of the Federation, but when it needs a sword, it will turn to Starfleet, and that's where the player characters come in. So I think that's probably our best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our best precedent is that they do work with.
Right.
Yeah.
So after Lieutenant Commander quotes off something to that effect, I say, "Very good, Lieutenant Commander. I don't expect you to be well briefed on the inner workings of Starfleet intelligence, just the basics here. And what you said highlights one of my points. We prefer to keep most of the details hidden, even if that means that the ship in question might have some questions. Is it conceivable," and I look to the Admiral, "that the level of sensitivity of this mission might require further classification, barring even that amount of detail from your or perhaps even the captain's view?"
Well, seeing as I'm not privy to the captain's level, I couldn't know that for sure. But I can see that scenario happening, Commander.
It seems like the actions of a prudent and cautious security regime, correct? Compartmentalizing information.
That is correct.
All right, Lieutenant Commander. Shoot, I had something else I was going to say. Hold on just a moment. My notes were compiled very quickly. They're very out of order. Yes. Now, Chief. Sorry. Now, Lieutenant Commander. After the events leading to Agent Mordak's death, you investigated the explosion, correct?
Correct.
Your findings of that explosion?
Well, based off of my scans, I was able to determine that there was, in fact, human biomatter present. Based off of my conversation with the doctor, saying that it was, in fact, a human, I began to dig deeper into this whole investigation. I reviewed the security footage, displaying the fact that this, well, it is no longer called this cargo because up until this point, I didn't know it was an agent. During the investigation, upon reviewing the footage and going back into the shuttle bay, I figured out that it, as I indicated earlier, it was human biomatter. And from there, hang on here, outside of character here. Lost my train of thought. Had some stuff going on here. So the first step, I had the conversation with the doctor. Second, I reviewed the video footage of the cargo at that point escaping. Third, I went and scanned the Romulan bodies and tried to figure out if there was any connection there. I was unable to do so. Fourth, I went to the cargo bay, conducted my scans, confirmed human biomatter, and as you can see, that is how I presented it in my report.
I find no fault with your report, Lieutenant Commander.
So,
the boarding of the Romulans, however, onto your ship does concern me. Can you elaborate into this chain of events, please?
Well, I was on my way down to the medical bay when the doctor, to actually deal with the boarders. Hang on, let me step back here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, I do believe I was on the bridge, and hang on, I'm actually trying to remember because it's been a few weeks. It's been pretty busy in real life. So I think I was off the bridge at that point, doing something. So, anyways, our ship was attacked just out of the blue. I think Ensign Michelson was trying to guide us on a course towards the rendezvous point. The Romulans popped out of nowhere and started attacking us in a surprise attack. Simultaneously, we were boarded by, and he says the number of Romulans. They took out my 4 security guards posted to guard the cargo that the doctor was dealing with. And around that time, the doctor let me know that they're boarded, and I proceeded to head down to the medical bay. Once I got there, the doctor was out, and my security team down there was dead. The doctor was in the hallway. Hang on, I'm mixing up stuff here. This is... Yeah, sorry, I didn't have time to go back and re-review the episodes. So I was midway down to the medical bay, and the doc let me know that the cargo had escaped and was heading towards the shuttle bay. So I headed towards the shuttle bay at that point. And then from there, I secured the shuttle with 2 security teams and let the captain know what was going on and awaited the captain's arrival. And I think you know the rest from there, Commander.
Indeed, I do. How quickly would you say the Romulans were able to board the ship?
Extremely fast. Within a couple of minutes, I mean, they had the drop on us. We barely had any time to react, and most of the bridge crew was off of the bridge, I believe, at that point in time.
Did the Romulans seem to know where to go on the ship, Lieutenant Commander?
To my knowledge, they knew exactly where to go. They must have been scanning us somehow without being able to get detected. I don't know how they did it, but they knew exactly where to go.
Interesting. And the Sarek was flying with its shields up, as is per standard protocol?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, as a tactical officer, do Federation ships have the ability to scan through shields?
Okay, so reaching outside of this scene, does anybody know the answer to that? Because I don't.
The answer to that would be no, they do not.
Okay. No, they do not.
Very good. And our technology levels in the Romulans are fairly equivalent, wouldn't you say, especially after the war?
Correct.
Isn't it not then more conceivable that the Romulans had assistance rather than some new technology in pinpointing their target on board the Sarek?
I had that in the back of my mind, Commander. However, I had no evidence other than corpses, and my investigation of said corpses revealed nothing. Beyond that, I had nothing else to investigate, so I only factually stated what I could in my report.
Understood, Lieutenant Commander. You did your duty commendably, and thinking outside the box is admirable in Starfleet officers, for the most part. However, in this particular instance, let's push that a little bit further, shall we?
Okay,
That in-character coughing?
Yeah, you can.
No, that's not
mute.
mine.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought my mic was muted.
My
bad.
No, this is in-character coughing to try and get Varro to shut up.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Commander, who on board the ship would have the ability to circumvent your investigations? To your knowledge.
To my knowledge, every Starfleet officer on board had access to that knowledge at Starfleet Academy. For sure, I know the security officers would under my command because I train them personally. I make sure that they know how to do their duties. And perhaps all the bridge crew or the bridge officers would as well.
And who... Sorry, never mind. That's all the questions I have for you right now, Lieutenant Commander.
All right.
Very well. Defense, your witness.
Commander.
Captain.
Were you aware of the captain's orders at the before we came into contact with the cargo vessel?
Yes.
To your knowledge, did those state an origin for the orders?
No.
Objection. The Lieutenant Commander's awareness of the...
You broke off.
Yeah.
Sorry. Objection. The Lieutenant Commander should not
lost you.
have impact.
Yeah, we lost you again, Commander.
Hold on.
That's fate telling you no.
Is it me, or are the prosecution and defense all betazoids?
Pretty much.
Dun dun dun.
I mean, no lying in this courtroom.
Yeah, I was about to ask Varro for a read. But then I remembered, oh wait, he's a betazoid. He'd know I was reading him. Oh shit.
I think Varro's typing it out.
Probably, because I think he heard me.
Gonna be a while.
Yeah.
Well, I can't read thoughts. I'm an empath, not telepath.
This sounds like it's going to be a lengthy objection.
That's the gist.
Okay.
I will say sustained.
Oh, so I'm supposed to answer then?
No.
No.
Okay.
It means that Captain Stark's line of questioning was not valid.
Okay.
At any time during this mission, were you ever, or to your knowledge, any other member of the crew exempted from participating or knowing about part of the mission because of security clearance?
That was not part of the mission at all, sir.
Objection. The security clearance of the crew is not the issue at stake here.
Overruled. Continue, Captain.
Commander, if in a hypothetical situation, if a commanding officer ordered you to seize a citizen of the Federation without just cause, would you?
I would have to know more about the situation and determine what to do with that. Based off of the information you just presented, I would say no. However, if the situation dictated otherwise, then I may consider it.
So, to answer my question, you would not continue to hold them?
Correct. I would not.
Did you at any time file a grievance against the captain or the XO, or state to them in any way that you felt that they were taking an illegal action by disobeying direct orders?
I did not. Did not see the need to.
So you're saying in your eyes that they did not disobey a legal order?
Well, see, no, that's subjective. It goes against what they teach us at Starfleet, so I agreed with them on that level. However, since it was a Starfleet operation, I might have demanded more information before I handed over anything. So I think the captain was right with what he was doing.
Did you witness the events that took place in the cargo bay between myself and the deceased?
Out of character, deceased.
The Orion.
Oh yeah, I did. As you know, Captain, now standing nearby you.
And did it appear to you that a person with an unconfirmed identity was attempting to commandeer a Starfleet vessel?
That is definitely true.
And do you think it is within a captain's prerogative to prevent a unidentified person from commandeering a shuttlecraft?
I would agree with that assessment, Captain.
That's all the questions I have.
Very good. Lieutenant Commander, you may sit down.
Thank you, Admiral. Gets up, walks off, sits down in the seat.
Are there any other witnesses to be presented?
Varro? There?
What?
Do you have any witnesses left?
I can't hear. What? Hold on.
Sounds like
Is that better?
Wait. Okay, what was said?
Are there any other witnesses to be presented?
Got it. Oof. Yes, I'll call Captain Rolen Starks to the stand.
Captain, if you please.
The captain stands out without saying a word, slightly bows to the Admiral, and takes the stand.
Captain?
Sir?
When you received your orders, can you please recite for the log exactly what those orders contained?
Stardate 53-322.6. The Sarek is ordered to rendezvous with a civilian freighter inside an asteroid field in the Shackleton Expanse. The asteroid field is not located in any star system. The orders are to pick up a piece of cargo and will meet up with the USS Independence, an Akira-class ship, where you will transfer the cargo. It is a crew transfer in a supply ship drop-off.
Captain, what were your thoughts when you received this order?
Standard enough. Good.
And
good
the
mission.
encryption as well, correct?
Could you repeat the question?
The encryption on the orders seemed standard as well, correct?
To my knowledge, there was no encryption on the orders other than what could be said for any communication between a starbase and a starship.
So a relative degree of encryption.
As compared to any other communications between a starbase and a starship, yes.
Good. The operation, as we've established, did not go off without a hitch. What was your first inclination that your orders might have been somewhat sparse in their detail?
The moment they were received, because they do not state a time. They do not state the name of the cargo vessel, the captain of the cargo vessel, or really any details that could be used to identify the cargo vessel or its cargo.
Captain, you said these orders seemed...
You cut out.
Captain, you said these orders seemed relatively mundane. Did I...
No, I wouldn't use the word mundane, but I would agree generally with
Standard,
what you're implying.
perhaps.
Yes.
You point out a number of irregularities.
None that would prevent me from attempting to carry out the mission at that point, since I have, in my service, I have known admirals that were verbose and admirals that were not, and I believed that it would not be difficult to carry out those orders, even though they were very sparse on details.
The orders seemed like they came from a reliable, if somewhat less wordy, source. At least one that
To
had
my knowledge,
access to Starfleet encryption protocols.
To my knowledge, the orders were transferred from an unknown source to Admiral Heppert to me, and I would judge those orders as acceptable and within standard procedures based on my relationship and trust in Admiral Heppert. But if I had received those from out of nowhere without Admiral Heppert's name attached to them, I would have had many more questions.
It's understandable, Captain. So, the next point of suspicion, then, if you will, since the orders themselves seem to be within acceptable parameters, as you yourself have said.
Commander?
There?
What?
You didn't say anything.
I did say something.
You said like
Yeah,
one more
but-
question and then you didn't say anything.
No, like it wasn't a question. It felt like a statement. I didn't realize I was supposed to respond.
Okay. Well, Discord's being nice to me right now. So basically what I said was these orders seemed to be within the realm of acceptability. So what was your next point of contention with your mission?
That would have to be when it was discovered that the cargo in question was a sentient being. And that was not covered in the orders.
And what was your response when you made this discovery, Captain?
My response was to first continue the mission and transfer them. And then I ordered the XO to clarify our orders
Nope.
We'll get through it.
Sorry. The EXO to clarify the orders was the last thing I got.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And you received back simply to proceed with your mission. Correct?
In a
Or
manner
something
of
along those
speaking.
lines. What?
Nope, didn't say anything. I just go.
Wait,
You hear what I said?
Wait, hang on. Did Starex not respond?
He said in a manner of speaking.
Oh.
We spoke at the same time, and then in order to get this going before Varro falls out again, I'm trying to...
Right. Sorry.
Oh, this is killing me because there are so many little things I want to say.
Sorry about that. You're a jury member. And once your orders had been confirmed, Captain, what was your choice? What was your course of action?
At that point, I intended to continue with the mission, and I did, on counsel from members of the senior staff, attempt to contact Admiral Hebert and clarify my orders with her.
The results of this were?
A complete refusal to discuss any parameters of the mission that were not contained in the orders.
And what does this suggest to you, Captain Starex, about the mission itself?
I heard you. Just give me a second, because I
Cool.
lost my entire train of thought when you said that.
I was gonna say, take too much longer, and Varro can actually tell the judge at some point if a witness isn't answering. Like, judge, please instruct the witness to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now you're gonna have to restate the question because I've completely lost where we were.
With the Admiral refusing to respond and your orders having been confirmed, what were your thoughts on the nature of your mission?
At this point, I started to suspect that the Admiral was being kept in the dark, and herself did not actually know anything further than what was stated.
On what grounds?
She stated as much.
You said she refused all communication.
No, I did not. I said she refused to clarify past. We communicated, and in that communication, she declined and refused to answer or add anything to the orders other than what was in them when they were originally issued.
And this immediately led you to suspect that she was in the dark, not that your clearance level was too low. Captain, that seems presumptuous, to say the least.
There is reason to keep a lieutenant who works in the mess hall from knowing that we are preparing an offensive against the Dominion, there's not really a valid reason in my mind to keep the captain of a ship knowing what the ship's being used for, because captains rather than mess lieutenants have responsibilities to not conduct illegal actions.
And what makes you think this was an illegal action, Captain Starex? I've had no convincing testimony on your part that this was anything other than a mission with somewhat sparse details.
I do not make a habit of kidnapping people or being party to kidnapping.
Objection. The witness is asserting a opinion with no basis. He has no way of knowing that this was a kidnapping or of what sort this person was.
Sustained.
In that case, I will plead not to speak any further in light that the entire reasons I've made my decisions have just been blocked off from me.
That is your right, Captain.
Okay, so I'm a little confused. Where are we at now? Is the captain just refusing to speak anymore?
Pleaded the fifth.
I pleaded. I don't know what the fifth is in Starfleet, but I assume the Federation has a Fifth Amendment.
Oh,
Directive 101.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually established.
And I pled Directive 101.
Okay. So it's been established that the captain does. This is back in character, sorry. It has been established that the captain did not have grounds for his assumption.
If that's a question, I will say that I do not believe that is the case.
Then please, Captain, tell me the grounds upon which you based your assumption that this person was there against their will. Your assumption that the Admiral was in the dark. You seem to have made a lot of assumptions, Captain.
I attempted to explain those assumptions, and that line of response was struck.
Yeah, that might have been a mistake on my part.
Yeah, because I'm hamstring here.
So yeah, I know. Yeah,
the Directive 101.
Yeah, that might have been a mistake on my part. So we'll just say that was overruled previously.
Do you want to ask your question again?
Well, you refused to answer my question.
We're gonna go back because I think I probably made a mistake with this stuff.
Yeah.
He said the wrong thing when you objected, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Ah. So then the question goes back to, on what grounds, Captain, do you believe that your mission objective was there against his will?
I had no reason to suspect he was there either because he wanted to be or against his will. And that is what I tried to establish. And I said as much to the Admiral.
The Admiral did not provide you a suitable response, so you assumed then that Agent Mordak was there against his will.
I would refrain from answering any question in which it's implied that this person was an agent or that their name was Mordak, because I had no knowledge of that at the time and could not respond.
Very well, I shall rephrase. That the Orion was there against their will.
You're gonna have to state the whole question again.
Admiral, I'd like to move to say that the witness is being unresponsive. Instruct him to answer in a yes or no fashion.
I believe he asked you to rephrase the question, Commander. Please rephrase.
Was that an out of character asking me to restate the question?
That definitely was.
Ah, okay, sorry. Yeah, now I have to restate the question.
Yeah, because I couldn't remember the first half of it, which is why I asked.
Mm-hmm. Now I can't either. Shoot.
What he asked, because I more or less remember what he asked.
Cool.
Is that he asked whether or not, upon getting this information, that you assumed the worst.
That's kind of it, yeah.
Do you want to rephrase that in character?
So without confirmation from the Admiral, you assumed that the Orion was there against their will.
No, I didn't assume that. I know that I did not know the case, and that it was imperative that I establish whether or not he was there against his will before I proceeded. But regardless of that, if I had received a warrant, that would have nullified any inquiry into whether or not his citizenship status or whether or not he was there against his will or not.
Can you wait? What? Sorry, out of character.
I'm stating that I did not make any assumptions about his status, just that I needed to know about it, but that a warrant would have ceased all inquiry.
All right. Then what was the manner with which you proceeded, Captain? Obviously not having assumed that this person was there against their will, as you had previously stated.
I said that I didn't assume they were there against their will or on their will. Simply that
Yes.
I did not know the fact.
So how did you proceed, Captain, after the Admiral was unable to answer your questions?
I was ordered to cease my attempts to investigate the matter and to return to Narendra.
And did you do this?
At which time I made an official statement that I could not follow any legal order.
And what prompted you to assume this was an illegal order, Captain? I ask you again.
That I could be involved in the illegal arrest of a Federation citizen.
What made you conclude this was a Federation citizen, Captain?
I could not determine whether they were or were not. And so either
Then
possibility
you would not have
was...
been held guilty in a court of law, Captain. Therefore, your objection has no merit.
I'm sure in some culture I could find a court which would not find me guilty of bombarding all life from a planet, but that doesn't make it right. Oh my God, Bill, what the frick did you just do?
Yeah, I have to figure out what I was saying. I lost my train of thought.
Do keep in mind we are approaching the time limit I tried to set.
Sorry. So, Captain, without information You say you were unwilling to proceed with your mission. What was the action you then took?
To set course to rendezvous with the USS Independence, assuming that by time we reached them, that all of this would be cleared up and that I would transfer the prisoner, or that it would not be cleared up, and at that point I have no idea what would have happened.
All right, Captain. Did you proceed at best speed?
I proceeded at a speed necessary to achieve the goals that I just stated, that we did not arrive before I had time to to engage with the Orion.
Okay. Admiral, please instruct Captain Starex to answer in a yes or no fashion. Did he proceed at best speed to the rendezvous point?
Captain?
He'll have to define best speed.
Maximum warp.
Maximum warp is only used for emergency situations, and as such, I'll say no.
Oh, so, right, because the Sarek is an older ship. So that would be your maximum cruise speed.
I didn't think it necessary, so no.
Your orders were to proceed at best speed, Captain.
I decided as captain what best speed was.
No, you don't, Captain. Best speed is determined by your ship's class and its capabilities, not your prerogative.
I assume, if you'll allow me to speak, that every order I ever receive, I'm to interpret not as if the admiral or the person giving that order was a human and might have different meanings for the word best in different circumstances, and that it's not my prerogative to interpret as captain my orders, but to simply apply the dictionary and let what may happen.
No, Captain, I do not propose that we remove sentience from the process of command. I assume that all captains are aware of basic operating procedures. Best speed means as fast as you are able, without violating standard regulations. In this case, because the Sarek is an old vessel, that would be proceeding at speeds that damage subspace. You were asked to make best speed, Captain. What speed did you set?
I believe maximum impulse.
Okay. Admiral, I move to strike that from the record. Not that. Not what I meant to say.
No.
Yeah. I move
That's
to
exactly what he meant.
No.
I move to put that down as anything but best speed.
Murmuring among the jury.
I would, if I may honor, I would disagree that there are things that are less, that if the prosecution has established what best speed is, and we've established what I said my speed was, that there is obviously something lower than that, which is less than best speed, and also less than the speed that I went.
For the record, let it be noted that Captain Starex decided it in his best interest to set maximum impulse.
Thank you, Admiral. Now, Admiral, would you consider that best speed?
I would ask that the Admiral not be questioned, as they're not impartial in this case, and they're asked to be impartial in their station.
Yes, I will agree with Captain Starex.
Very well. Captain, after proceeding at full impulse to the rendezvous point, how long did Helm say it would take you to reach that destination?
They were not consulted. That I don't always ask them how long things take.
Very well then. An estimate from the computer. This is the computer in the courtroom.
I'm not sure if you would have access to that.
No, usually they have that.
Yeah, they have that.
Yeah.
That's standard.
Like it's gonna be a simple distance calculation. It's gonna be something in like
yeah.
tens or hundreds of thousands of years.
Oh, here,
Right.
let me throw because
Whatever you guys find is what the computer says.
wait,
Right.
I gotta do it. Oh, come on.
Well, it's something like it was at least a couple of light years, and we were at Impulse, so we can just say that it's like well beyond the lifetime of any human or any other.
Right. So
or the ship.
impulse is a
Hang
quarter
on.
of the speed of light, so that's at
Hang on.
least 10 years.
Here we go. Hang on. There you go.
Okay, you can say whatever, and I'll probably agree to it.
Yeah. Well, we'll just say 15 years for lack of argument, just to continue.
Admiral, move to have it entered that Captain Starex at present speed had no intent of making the rendezvous at any point during his Starfleet career.
We will only enter the facts, Commander. We will enter the years.
Yes, Admiral. Captain Starex. What was your anticipated course of action after you set maximum impulse to the rendezvous point? You said you wanted to wait it out, so to speak?
No, I just wanted to wait till the doctor could revive the Orion, and at that time, I presumed that this would all be cleared up, and that the transfer could be made according to orders.
If I may circle back for a moment, Captain, you are of some experience in the chair. You've served on multiple ships, and you've received orders from many sources.
Hopefully most captains have.
Well, some are less experienced than others. You've been in the fleet for a while, and you've received many assignments. When an assignment is of a great deal of importance, of high classification, are there usually a great amount of details with that mission?
There are normally sufficient details, and when more details are requested, there is never been stonewalling.
Never in all your years, Captain. You've never had an assignment that was above your pay grade? I find that hard to believe.
If you can find an instance in which I was ordered to do something that was and not clued in, then I will comment on that instance.
I will refrain from doing so for now, Captain. However, the question at hand is whether standard operating protocol should allow you to I just went completely red. Did anybody hear what I said?
I heard
Nope.
Well, that was great. I'm just loving Discord tonight.
Yeah, I even tried to switch servers and it didn't help. I'm sitting at yellow.
I'm at green.
Yeah, I have not been above red.
I mean, maybe whatever Star Trek gods there are favor me because I've been at green the whole time.
That's one of his advantages.
It's being able to speak. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So I need to get my train of thought back now.
Yeah, we're definitely running over. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. My apologies. This has not been fast.
Yep. So if you have a point, please make it.
Okay. I'll just try and summarize what I was saying rather than say in character. So
That
basically,
closing statement.
what I was
saying.
What?
I mean, if you don't have any questions, we can go to closing statements, and you can do just that.
I had some more statements, but in the interest of time, I guess wrap it up.
I mean, if you
I
have
need to.
questions, let's do them. I thought you were about to do like a closing argument thing. Didn't want you to have to do it twice.
Oh.
Is there
I
is there anything important and relevant that you need to ask?
Yes. Yeah. All right, Captain. I won't fault you on trying to understand your orders, however much I might personally disagree with you on that. It is within your realm of rights as a captain.
The captain is going to slowly turn towards the admiral and look as if maybe the case has just been dismissed.
I said personally. So that was, yeah.
Meaning there's a butt coming.
Right.
Or however.
Let's let the man make his butt.
It is his.
Mm-hmm.
The butt is yours, sir.
Now you're just breaking me on purpose, and I hate it.
You're welcome. We're here every Thursday. We are the crew of the Sarek.
Let him have his question.
Mm-hmm. Captain, I would like to move to one other piece of tangentially related information.
I would question the prosecutor's ability to bring in anything tangential based on the fact that it is tangential and not relevant.
Let me say then a slightly different line of questioning.
Proceed carefully, Commander.
I would like to speak briefly about the destruction of the USS Imogen.
I fail to see how that's relevant.
And Captain Stark's refusal to allow his crew to abandon ship when the vessel in question was assuredly doomed. These are not the fitting actions of a captain. Questioning orders is troublesome, but subjecting a crew to their deaths, well, that's far more than troublesome.
Objection, relevance.
Well, I mean, Admiral, can I respond because there's been no question?
Okay.
Very well, Captain.
I would request that you point out the instance in which I was ordered to remove my crew from the Imogen, and also
Standing orders as a captain are to save lives when possible, as you well know.
What a standing order say about allowing a hostile entity to freely take over a Starfleet vessel in the interest of saving lives? Because if there is one, then I'm sure the Dominion would have won.
Captain, that is hardly related to my point.
Commander, if you have a point, please make it.
Captain Starks has repeatedly established that he is far less concerned with Starfleet protocols and standard actions of the Federation citizens than with his own judgments on what constitutes a good captain. These judgments seem to at many times be in conflict with the best interests of his crew and the best interests of the Federation and his standing orders.
Admiral, the question.
Commander, this is your last warning.
Wait, no, hang on. He is you asked him to make a point, and he is making.
Yeah, I made a point.
Yeah. Again, as someone who knows a little something about this, what he's doing is he is establishing a pattern of behavior within the witness, and that's
I'm not off topic.
Yeah, that's the point he's getting at, and that is actually a legit courtroom tactic.
I'm just reminding y'all that he can't orate while there's a witness on the stand.
I'm establishing a pattern of behavior with the witness.
Yeah.
I'm not orating.
Is there more? Or is that it? Or do you have a question?
That was it. I was using. Yeah, I did what I wanted to do there.
Any further questions, Commander?
No, Admiral. I believe I've made my point.
Very well. Captain, do you have any last words before we move to closing statements?
I do not.
Very well. We will take a short recess, not a real recess, before we do closing statements.
Mm-hmm.
So, allow everyone to get back to their stands, yada, yada. And then we'll go ahead and say, Commander Varro, your closing statement, please.
I didn't prepare a closing statement, damn it.
We're both in the same position. Just go for it.
Yeah, closing statement. Basically, you just sort of this is your chance to orate, and reestablish everything that you want to establish.
Got it. All right. For the court, I'd like to highlight the disturbing behaviors that Captain Starex has exhibited over the course of his career. From his dubious connections with Romulus throughout his lifetime, to his blatant disregard for Starfleet orders and general modes of operation, to most recently, his refusal of orders that put, as Starfleet intelligence will testify, an agent into a position where they were unable to return to us. All of these things make Captain Starex not necessarily unfit as an officer, but certainly unfit for command. Unfit for command of a starship due to the fact that he has no respect for its position or his duties therein. Sorry, out of character pause. Additionally, his pattern of behavior has been most unbecoming of a Starfleet captain, and we move that he should be removed from the service. Yeah. I rest my case.
Captain, your closing argument?
I'd like to establish some of the things you've heard here. One, the orders that I received were lacking in detail. Two, no member of my immediate chain of command was willing to clarify them. Three, I do not have the right to lawfully detain a Federation citizen. Four, there was no way to determine if the person I had taken hold of was a Federation citizen. And five, that I have an exemplary record as a captain. And I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to use those advantages and maybe relate to something that an admiral has said on my behalf.
You could probably use it for like your spotless service record during the Dominion War.
Yeah, okay. As example, I'll give you my service record under Admiral Ross during the Dominion War.
And I would imagine it's like a service record of a exemplary service, commendations.
Has he achieved hero status?
Probably not that far, but you know, like a lot of commendations, a lot of good words, a lot of, you know, he was vital to the efforts of the fleet during the wartime, stuff like that. Continue, Captain.
So, at least as I see it, jury, there's one conclusion here. That at least one, or maybe several, Starfleet admirals decided, for whatever reason they had, that Starfleet intelligence needed to engage in covert operations, but that they did not necessarily have to restrain themselves or Starfleet to the laws of the Federation, and that they now seek to punish an officer for trying to uphold those laws. There's a bow, and I rest my case.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and jump to the jury deliberation. So that those of you in the jury, feel free to jump over to the jury channel. And basically, you're making two rulings on the charges brought forward. The disobeying of orders and the treason charge. Definitely, the treason has to be unanimous. But yeah, you guys can go ahead and.
What was the first charge?
Real quick, can you make a post of what the actual charges are and whether, like, how many people have to agree for that to be found guilty?
Yeah, so I think there was insubordination.
Okay.
I think that one just probably needs majority.
Mm-hmm.
Treason is definitely unanimous.
Got it.
And that's it. So yeah, you guys feel free to jump over to the jury channel.
Awesome.
And let me know when you guys are done, and we'll take it up there.
Okay.
Hello.
So I hope you guys don't mind, but as the only captain here, would you mind if I disseminated the ruling to the court?
Technically, you're the only captain.
Yeah, I'm the only captain among us, so I think.
Well, in the very first game I DM'd, I was the first captain. No, I don't actually care.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think it'd make sense.
Okay.
Technically, I could be whatever the fuck I want.
So
Starex isn't here.
So yeah, I say all the captains, all the captains and commanders are sitting around the table, and Harmon says, "This certainly isn't an easy choice."
Well, do we want to talk about the big one, or we want to talk small first?
I think the big one is going to be easier to come to a decision on.
Elephant in the room, as it were. Treason.
Very, very true. Treason, big deal. I don't think there's any evidence of it.
I don't think so either.
I do, on a personal note, I have no stake in this and did not hear any story before this. But
Me neither.
just from what I heard, do I think he did it? Maybe on purpose. Have no real proof, so no.
To say that Captain Rolen Starex committed treason against the Federation is like saying that we're going to get invaded by the Borg again. It's almost impossible.
Okay.
Because it proves nothing was essentially proved. It was all hearsay. There is no solid, concrete evidence of what happened, when it happened.
And
therefore, my ruling is innocent.
Innocent. I agree. Yep. I met Starex and had some very close one-on-one conversations with him during the Zarconia incident. He's not that type of person. I can guarantee you that.
Innocent of treason, yes. Innocent completely no.
I
Oh, of
agree
course.
completely with that.
Oh,
Yes.
of
But
course,
we're only discussing
Treason.
treason charge at this time.
So to say that he is innocent of treason is the truth, and I think the problem with this treason itself stems deeper than the captain himself. So to say that he's the only responsible party in an event of treason would be silly, at the very least.
Agreed. We'd have to charge. Quite a few other people as well in order to make such a charge stick. In fact, I think in order to charge him of treason, we would need a unanimous vote. But it would appear that the unanimous vote has swung the entire opposite direction.
Yep.
Exactly.
Agreed.
In that case, I feel that it bears no more deliberating on the matter as to the state of the treason charge. Not guilty.
Yep.
Not guilty.
Now then, let's move on to the small fry, and the one that troubles me far more.
May actually have talking.
Okay, may I say a few words then about this?
Very well.
The charges of being brought against him insubordination for disobeying a direct order and refusing to transport what he believed was a Federation citizen. I believe in this case that he is innocent because his reasoning at the time seemed very appropriate, because you don't receive an order like that and just think, okay, I'm gonna do it no matter what. Because if you think you might be breaching human rights, you have to stop.
True,
I'm not saying that he is completely innocent, but he should be reprimanded at the very least, or demoted.
I am in a similar state of,
I think everyone has something to say about this one, so let's just let everyone actually talk, because I think we're all going to try to talk over each other too much.
Do I just work down the list?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Go ahead.
Brennan, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I would like to make a point on this. Again, speaking as someone who has seen Starex in action and his style of command, I would say that the prosecution's assertions aren't entirely invalid. Starex does seem like the type to allow certain gut instincts to take over when operating procedure should come first. Now, while I don't necessarily agree with Starfleet's decision to keep Captain Starex in the dark, the fact remains that not only did he make incredibly blatant attempts to disregard the orders at hand, but made very thinly veiled attempts to justify them in regards to how fast the ship traveled, as the prosecution argued, not best speed. And I am in a similar boat as Commander Jacoby. I feel that a demotion is in order, but in order for a demotion to be put in place, we would have to come to a guilty verdict in regards to the charge of insubordination.
Commander Prax?
Prax is just recording.
I'm just recording, so I have no voice in this. Even though I was supposed to play Commander Mitchell, or Captain Mitchell, but that's okay.
Okay, the rest of you then?
So, as far as I'm concerned, yes, he didn't have enough facts about what was happening. But there are ways to handle situations which are not disregarding orders and acting in a way to endanger your crew. His action of going at impulse when he's just been attacked by raiders is putting his crew in more danger than they need to be. And he has admitted in his own testimony to disregarding direct orders from an admiral. As far as I'm concerned, it is just set. He has disregarded orders and put his crew in danger. So
Intentions or no?
I agree. The fact that he went to impulse after being attacked is troubling.
Well, I do, and I agree with everyone's statement there. However, I do feel flying blind is bad, and anyone can attest to that. And especially flying blind in a command situation is even worse. Where I don't necessarily agree with the decisions he made. And I do believe, yes, he is guilty of disobeying orders, but there's more to discuss than that. I don't think he is innately responsible for that guilt. I do believe, from everything I've heard, he made a decent decision under those circumstances.
Exactly, I agree.
One that I don't think is worth a guilty charge of insubordination.
Now, the thing in regards to that, speaking as someone with a decent amount of experience with Starfleet legal procedures, a guilty verdict in regards to insubordination can end in a number of different types of sentencings.
Mm-hmm.
What we are suggesting is that we go to the court with a guilty verdict asking for the lightest possible sentencing, in which case would be, or almost lightest sentencing, in which case would be a demotion. The heaviest sentence we could give him would be a full dishonorable discharge from the fleet. And I don't think any of us want to see that happen.
No.
Commanders, Captain Starex has too much to offer the.
Yes, but may I also add that we are here, in fact, trialing a person with an exemplary, shiny record from the Dominion War. Therefore, to trial him guilty, in the very least, would be, well, discouraging, shall we say. Because if we trial him guilty, what is to say that all the other great Dominion heroes will not feel safe in the Federation if they feel that we can prosecute them for minor disobeying of an order at any given moment?
That's a good, valid point.
Commander, I would have to completely disagree. The fact of he has admitted to disregarding orders. We're not here to talk about his past or what he has done. He has done a lot for the Federation. We are here to discuss what he has done in this situation. He has admitted to it. These are facts, not feelings.
Captain, you have to consider the bigger picture here. This is not just about Captain Rolen Starex. This is about the entire Federation.
But at the same time, if we do not use the legal system to the best of our ability, what is that telling other people, other young captains, other aspiring captains, that they can get away with such things? Because they're heroes?
There's both sides to that coin. You're also telling them they can't make life or death situations, or not even life or death situations, but make good judgment calls, being afraid to do any such thing of that nature, and that's just as bad.
Now, here's the thing. The way we're discussing this is not in terms of guilty or not guilty.
Very true.
The question being asked is the punishment that Starex deserves. In order for Starex to receive any punishment whatsoever, a guilty verdict must be reached.
Agreed.
Down the list, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
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 Innocent.
Innocent.
That's 3-2.
Yes, it is.
With the stipulation of lightest
correct
sentencing.
Agreed.
And who shall be placed in charge of the USS Sarek if Captain Starex will be demoted?
All things considered, as the one with the most experience with the Sarek and her crew, I would personally put in a recommendation for one Commander Prax.
Then, Captain, you will be the one to propose that to the Admiral.
Understood. Well, I believe that we have come to a consensus about the jury's outlook on this case. I say we back to the court.
Yep, would agree.
Session adjourned.
Happened.
I wrote questions out.
The jury is returned.
Oh,
They're
damn.
back. All right.
The
you
jury.
guys-
Yep. The
Okay.
jury walks back into the room, and Captain Harmon Grennan takes the center. Your Honor, if I may address the court.
Very well, Captain. I assumed you have reached a verdict.
Indeed, the jury has reached a verdict on both charges. On the
Please.
charge of treason, the jury unanimously finds Captain Rolen Starex not guilty of the charge. Now, on the second charge of insubordination, the jury finds through majority vote 3-2 Captain Rolen Starex guilty. However, the jury would like to petition that the lightest sentencing of a demotion be given, and that Commander Azrael Prax take his place as commanding officer aboard the Sarek.
Very well, Captain. I will take your recommendation into consideration. Jurors, you are
Your Honor.
dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, guys, thank you very much for participating in this little game we did, especially for those that are uber late.
Specifically, Jacoby, thank you.
Yeah, it's quite all right. If it's okay with you, gentlemen, I think I'm gonna go to my bed now.
Oh, yep. So, yeah, if anybody from the jury has to go, by all means, thank you very much.
No, I want to hear how this ends.
Until some other time, gentlemen. Mr. Starex, best of luck.
And Ed, before Varro and I totally leave, Varro and I would like to have a small scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because just the results of this are too fascinating for our character dynamics to be ignored.
Right. So now I have to think. Give me a minute.
I have a thing, a second thing.
You do have a second thing.
And 15 reputation.
I think I got it though. I think I got it. Captain Starex, in light of your impeccable service to Starfleet, you will retain command of the USS Sarek. However, may it be noted in your record of the outcome of today's trial, and should another instance of this ever come up in your record, Starfleet will not hesitate to remove you of command. This court-martial is adjourned. And Admiral Heppert gets up and walks out.
I would just like to note for the record that, this is a little bit late. It's not anything to do with the court. It's just Varro personally. When he walked in, he was not wearing a standard uniform. He was wearing uniform with the black instead of the red.
Oh.
He was here on behalf
For
of
the
Starfleet
death of your
Intelligence.
computer. For the death of your career, you wore all black.
I mean,
very appropriate.
And so because of this, Captain, I will probably move your reputation back to 10.
Okay.
Oh, so what? If he didn't have that reputation, he would have been demoted?
I think so. But he was at 15 rep.
Yeah.
So
neat.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to take that into consideration. So I think we'll do that. And if there's anything you guys want to run, I think now would be the perfect time.
Okay, so if it pleases everyone, I'd like to do the bit with Varro, if no one else has anything specific.
I definitely have things.
Yeah, so you guys go ahead and do yours really quick, and then we'll jump back to the Sarek and let them do their
because Starex, is this something that you're going to be doing aboard your ship with your crew? Like, I'm trying to decide whether or not the commander and I should go first.
Well, I'll say I have
first,
one.
Just go first really quick, so that then the entire Sarek crew can
Yeah,
do
that's what I was.
Yeah.
Okay, so the captain walks into, I presume, a room on, or no, just on the Kismet, just into the ready room on the Kismet, and Grennan's wearing his, the fancy dress uniform that captains wear, and Varro is in his uniform. And he goes, well,
how much time has passed?
I'd say maybe an hour.
All right, then I'm still in the intelligence uniform.
Yeah. So he walks in and he goes, well played in there, Varro.
It's not a duty I enjoy, sir. However, it did need to be done.
I understand. Now, I will say, there were quite a few points in there that were a little bit sloppy. If you want me to give you any pointers on the niceties of legal debate, I'd be happy to give you some advice.
I hope to avoid such encounters in the future, sir.
Yes.
However, your advice is not entirely unneeded.
Yes, we do hope that we don't have to deal with this kind of stuff in the future, but sometimes it's unavoidable. And the captain takes the seat in his ready room, and he goes, that gives me hope, The verdict we reached today. It makes me think that I might still be cut out for this after all. I had been questioning myself for a long time, but after the Zarkonian incident, Captain Starex gave me his confidence in my abilities as a captain. Now, when I was told about the charges brought up against him on our way back here to Narendra Station, I was more shaken than I think I should have been, really. After everything that happened, with me doubting my command again, I thought I had regained my footing, but this made me question it even more. Now that I see that Starex still has a place and that his views are still valuable, I think he was still right about me.
Perhaps he does still have use, Captain, if he contributed to keep a good captain in the fleet.
Of course, Varro. Well, we should go changed out of these. I gotta say, it's always nice to wear the prettier outfit, but this one's a little clingy.
I'll be glad to get out of this myself, sir.
Well, dismissed.
Thanks, sir.
All right.
That's our scene.
Yeah, okay. Captain Sarek, by all means, the floor is yours.
The first thing I want to do is turn to Varro as the court has been adjourned. And I want to attempt to talk to him telepathically.
Oh.
What do you say?
If you guys wanted to go to the command room, so it'd be just between yous, I will allow that.
Do you want to? It's up to you.
I don't know. Like, if we ever actually do things together, maybe it'll matter that only you know. I guess we can say that only you know, and you can tell whoever you want to tell.
Okay.
I'm gonna get you. Oh boy. So yeah, the jury came to a pretty unanimous decision that the that the treason charge had no real basis.
Yeah, no, but I kind of figured that. I just wanted to give you guys something else to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it was actually pretty slim in regards to the guilty, not guilty on insubordination, though.
It was
I'm
pretty
surprised that wasn't unanimous. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just kind of seconding what he said. It was actually a pretty good conversation for it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. I think a lot of what the decision came down to, though, was that I think we all agreed that he was guilty.
It's what actually should happen.
It's what actually should happen, and a couple members of the jury were of the mind that no punishment
was served. What? How do you want to say it? Like jury nullification in our actual law.
Yeah. There should be no punishment, and so they voted innocent as a result. Yeah, because I keep forgetting what it is, but it's the juries actually have this right that
it's jury nullification.
Yeah,
it's technically illegal to know about it and go onto a jury, but
Yeah, well, actually, what it is that the defense is not allowed to mention it.
Yes.
The defense is not allowed to tell the jury that they have the option to vote innocent even if the person is clearly guilty.
Yeah. It's an interesting byproduct of the law.
Yeah. Man, I really wanted to play lawyer today. Oh, killing me today, Ed.
I was not expecting to have to play a sociopath, so things happen.
If you wanna redo slightly the end of that scene you had with Grennan, now that because I'm assuming that what we said happened before that, you're free to.
Right.
Would he have said anything different to Grennan?
I think so. Or he might have.
Yeah, I might have, but I'll just keep that between Grennan and myself.
Yeah. And, and Varro has never been the best at immediately disseminating information that he has.
No, I just wait months.
All right. Any other scenes the Sarek crew wants to run?
I have one between me and Prax. Back on the Sarek in the captain's ready room.
Okay.
I do believe that Prax needs to do the transfer of command back to Captain Sarek.
Yeah, we could do that. Is there anything else you guys want to do in the courtroom with any of the crews there before we jump the ship?
I mean, if Prax wanted to talk to Mir, this would probably be the best chance she will ever get.
We'll save that for the end.
So I think if Varro and I aren't needed for anything, I think we're good. Varro?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
You want to stop over into command real briefly, Captain?
Sure.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, we'll head back to the Sarek, and I guess we'll go to the ready room with the captain and commander.
You can assume that you're at the door and you've just been pinged in.
Yeah. Captain?
Commander, and I'm pointing towards a seat.
I take a seat next to his desk.
I hope we can find some sort of reset button. I don't want to derail your career, but I do still think you have a lot to learn. And I would like to press a reset button and remove all of what has happened before this moment.
Very well, sir. just so you know, I mean, I still hold you in quite regard. I even with that last mission, I would have, if I felt you were out of line, I would have stopped you at any point, and I stand by that. Did you guys hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. I just I was about to say something right as you said that. I'm just gonna say you're dismissed, Commander.
Very well, Captain. I believe there is a certain ceremony that we have to commence.
Yes, Captain Starex to senior staff, meet me on the bridge. And then I motion towards the door.
Regov looks over his shoulder.
Commander.
Captain.
Oh no, that was towards Prax.
Oh.
I do believe you have to start it. Like, out of game real quick, you're gonna tell my character that you're relieving me of command of the USS Sarek.
Yes, I couldn't remember who started it. Commander Azrael Prax, I'm here to relieve you of command of the USS Sarek.
I stand relieved.
And without any other pause, the captain is going to look at you and say, I need a report on our engine's readiness, and now give it to me by the end of the shift. And he's going to walk back to his ready room.
At that point, Dr. Morganth will come to the bridge in the ready room and kind of ping the door.
To my ready room?
Yes.
Where's
Enter.
it working?
Bing. There we go.
And yeah, that one. And I go in. Captain, Lieutenant Commander Angel Morgan, reporting for duty, sir.
Commander.
Hi, sorry, go ahead.
Your arrival has been noted, and I'm sure the first officer can see to any needs you had, unless you had something specific.
I'm sure your family will enjoy the good news of your continued career, sir. And I go and turn and walk to the bridge and, present myself to Commander Prax and then head to sickbay.
Were there any necessary promotions or awards? Because I could do those if we have time.
I think we'll handle that probably next week because I didn't have any prepared. Like I wanted to, since I'm going to be off next year, I was going to look at the entire fleet and see what accommodations I need to give out. So yeah, we'll handle that next week.
I've got nothing else. If someone has something else they want to do, go for it.
With
Not so
that
much.
tip. Go ahead.
No, go for it. My thing doesn't involve anyone else, so it's fine.
Prax would probably want to see Mir before the Sarek ships out.
Yeah, we could probably run that really quick.
Okay.
So Prax heads to the brig on Narendra.
Oh, he's just kind of sitting there, just like he's thinking.
You notice Prax walking in and just takes a seat across from your cell.
Hello, Azrael.
Tomar?
I guess you've come to lecture me.
No. You did what you did. You allowed your past memories to get the better of you. I can't fault you for what you did because you're acting unlike the rest of us who went through the initiative program. We were trained to handle such memories. You were not. You gave in to both your own personal memories and the memories of your previous host.
Yeah. Sometimes it was hard to keep them apart, but I did okay for the most part.
I did send a letter to the Symbiosis Commission to ask that they handle your trial and punishment for what you did. I have not received a reply yet on whether or not that was successful. To what happens to you, though, is up to the Symbiosis Commission, but I'm hoping some part of you could be saved.
Yeah. Yeah. What's life if to live? Yeah. What is not to live if not to be a little bit broken? I don't know if that made sense to anybody but me, but go with it. He's crazy.
That kind of brokenness is what all joined fear, Mir, and I am truly sorry for not noticing the signs earlier to better prepare you for your life as joined.
I'm a big boy. I knew what I was doing. If they choose to do that, then that's just something I have to live with. I won't remember anyway, right?
You'll have a very big hole in your mind that you'll have to carry with you for the rest of your life and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah. He was just a kid. A stupid kid. What's done is done. And at that point, he literally just shuts down.
Well, I must get it back to the Sarek. I bid you good luck, old friend, and hopefully may we meet again.
Yeah. See you later, Prax.
And Prax exits the Narendra brig and heads back to the Sarek.
All right. So I think we got 2 more requests. We'll do Chief Kier and is that Ensign Tobin?
It's Ensign Calum.
Calum.
Bajoran. Bajoran, the first name is their last is how you refer to them.
You are correct. Ensign Calum.
So Ensign Calum is going to walk into the mess hall and see Chief Kier basically looking at her Starfleet comm badge, walk up across from her, or from him, sit down and say, "Something wrong, Chief?"
Kira's going to look up and kind of do a once-over over this new person and just say, depends on who's asking, as they put the comm badge, he puts his comm badge back on.
Ensign Calum, I was on Gamma shift. I'm to replace Ensign Michelson on Alpha shift.
Well, I wish nothing but the best for you, Ensign. Hopefully, you'll have better luck in the piloting chair.
He was a good friend
And
of mine.
at that point, sorry to hear that. I definitely know what it's like to lose a good friend. And he kind of leans back in his chair. And it's mostly just because he wants to put his hands under the table because they're like shaking a little bit. So he wants to clasp his hands together and put them on his lap.
You want to talk about it?
I don't really know what to say. I came to Starfleet because I thought they could offer something that my home world couldn't. Now I'm starting to wonder if I jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire.
I don't know. But you can't doubt yourself. It's always a terrible thing to do. Could lead to mistakes being. You are where you are now. Believe that you've made the right decision up to this point.
I guess the only thing I can do from here on out is act as if I have nothing but faith in my choices. I like that, Ensign. You're a little more introspective than perhaps I may have given your predecessor credit for. I can't say I knew him all that well.
Maybe we should swap stories sometime. I knew him back at the academy. The only person to fly a ship better than me was him. Damn, that was stupid. Why do you?
Maybe we should definitely swap those stories. Because I would certainly love to kind of get some backstory or context as to the lovely concussion I had for the last few days.
Well, if you want, Chief, we could start right now. I could tell you a little bit about him while he was at the academy.
I like that, Ensign.
And
Who knows?
basically
Maybe
there.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say 1 second.
Okay.
Just gonna say, sure. Maybe if I like you enough, I might trade some stories from my pre-Starfleet days. But let's not bank on it.
All right, Chief. And basically there I see the camera pulling away from those two as they're carrying on a conversation, and we can go wherever you want, Ed.
Yep, sounds good. I think Chief Altera had something he wants to run.
Yeah, I send a request to Prax for audience with the captain, because
You would have been on the bridge when the ceremony happened, so I mean, you don't have to have permission for that.
I'd probably, in that case, if I was on the bridge, I forgot, right? If I was on the bridge, I would have walked over to you and said, is the captain free to speak for a moment? I don't want to bother him after all this, if he's busy with something.
You should just go ask him yourself. I'm sure he has time to see you.
Okay. Captain,
Chief?
may I have a word, sir?
He points to his magical ready room. Chief?
Aye, sir. And I kind of very uncomfortably step in again, like I'm afraid of that room.
Before dealing with you, he turns towards a replicator. Chief, are you on duty?
I tap my earpiece, mutter something. Not now.
Good man. Replicator 2 and 2 glasses of Andorian ale and the bottle, please. And he sets the tray down on his desk and takes one of the glasses and motions for you to take the other.
Thank you, sir. And take the glass and take a swig at it.
Captain does the same and says, Chief?
Sorry, I don't drink much.
We'll work on it, Chief.
Sir. I was wondering if you were, oh God. I was wondering if you had, if you were intending to appeal.
I don't. I think any pushback from me would only cost me dearly and lie open the gate for Starfleet intelligence to further rot the core of the Admiralty. So I will stay here and keep quiet until I can change that. Chief.
Permission to speak freely, Captain? I'll have another glass, actually, apparently. I start pouring myself one.
Granted, Chief.
Take another swig and fit of coughing. Puts down the glass. Captain, I think what just happened was probably the worst thing I've seen in Starfleet. And I've been here for a long time. You're a good captain. You didn't do anything wrong. This isn't the Federation this isn't the Starfleet I joined up with.
It's our job to change that, Chief.
Aye, Captain. It is. Do they have special lessons in the academy about dealing with nonsense?
The captain just kind of looks puzzled.
It just seems like there's so much bull crap, sir. I mean, it's just... How do you deal with all that?
If we're to learn from the events of today, without question, Chief.
Very good, sir. That's all I wanted to ask about it. I have my former JAG officer who helped me out. I was going to recommend him, but if you're not going to appeal, there's all I can do is keep your ship running, sir, and support you in whatever endeavors you have to help save the Starfleet.
Well, Chief, if you keep her running and running well, if my observations of you are any indication, maybe you won't be a chief for long.
I'm not sure whether to thank you or curse you, sir. But I smile at that.
That depends on how close you can get me to 9.95, Chief. And it's kind of jokingly.
Well, actually, that's not that improbable. But that's a different problem. Solution. This is strong.
Well, if you don't want to appear in a drunken state before your captain, you're dismissed if you want to be.
Aye, sir. I'll get you a report on that 9.6 engine tomorrow. And I kind of just start slowly walking out.
All right, very good. If there's nothing else, I think this is probably a good place to call it.
Yeah.
So right, Reputation, I believe, is the name of the game.